All right, here we go. Question number 13 from our Precalculus, homework number 11 in MyLab Math. It says find the vertex, focus, and directrix of the following parabola. I want you to notice that this is given in general form. We probably need to convert to standard form. So the first thing I want to do over here in my window is I want to determine whether this is going to have a vertical or horizontal axis of symmetry. And the way we can determine that is by which variable is squared. So if we scroll over a bit, you're going to see that the vertical axis of symmetry has the x squared. And we actually have an equation that has y squared. So all of these formulas here for the horizontal axis of symmetry are going to apply in this example. So I've copied my equation down here in my scratchwork window. And I want you to notice that standard form has the y minus k squared on the left and the x information on the right. And so in order to get there, we're going to have to isolate the y variables on the left. Everybody else is going to move over. So that's going to give us y squared minus 6y. And in order to get that into a set of parentheses, we're going to have to complete the square. So I'm going to leave a space for the constant that we're going to generate that will give me a perfect square trinomial. On the other side, we're moving the 4x and the 9, which will make that minus 4x minus 9. Please don't forget that you're going to need a blank on the other side. When we complete the square, we'll have to add that value to both sides. And now completing the square. We're going to take half of negative 6, which is negative 3. That number squared is 9. And so it is 9 that we're adding to both sides. Hey, if you notice, you can hack and slash. The plus 9 minus 9 will cancel. Now that we've completed the square, we need to factor our perfect square trinomial. That is going to give us a y minus 3 quantity squared. And we know that because negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. Negative 3 plus negative 3 is negative 6. On the other side, we have only the minus 4x, and that is in standard form. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken my answer, now that's in standard form, and I've written the standard form formula below that, because I don't know if you noticed, but they want the vertex first, which is the ordered pair h comma k. And the first question I have for you is, what would h have to be for this set of parentheses to simplify to only x? Well, that would be 0. So we can see that h would have to be 0. If I circle up and down, we can see that negative k is negative 3. Changing the signs on both sides is going to give us k is 3. And then we can see our vertex is 0 and 3. Inputting that as an ordered pair, we're going to have parentheses 0 comma 3, close parenthesis. And the next thing we need is the focus. Now, if I scroll back up to my formulas, notice that the focus is the ordered pair h plus p comma k. In order to find the focus, I'm going to have to know the value of p. So coming back up to my formula, if I circle the coefficient of x, we can see that 4p would have to equal negative 4. And dividing both sides by 4, that's going to tell us that p is negative 1. And then I can get my focus. Doing a little plug and play. Remember, h is 0. 0 plus negative 1 is simply going to be negative 1. K is 3. And there's our focus, negative 1 comma 3. Inputting that as an ordered pair, negative 1 comma 3, close parenthesis. And the last thing we need to find here before we graph is the directrix. Notice from our formulas, the directrix is the equation x equal h minus p. So writing the equation of the directrix, x equals h minus p, h was 0 minus a -1. That's going to give us x is 1 for our directrix. Inputting the equation. And the very last thing we're going to need to do is graph. Now remember, to graph using our tool, you're going to need not only the vertex, but an additional point on the parabola. So in order to find additional points on the parabola, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to where I had my equation written in standard form, and I'm going to generate a table of values, and this time I'm going to pick a number for x. So I think a good decision, a good choice would be -1. Now why is that? That's because if I multiply -1 times -4, not only will that make it positive, it will also be a perfect square. So solving for y, we're going to have y minus 3 squared equals 4. Taking the square root of both sides gives me y minus 3 equals plus or minus 2. And moving the -3 over makes it a positive. So we would have y equals 3 plus 2 and y equals 3 minus 2. And so those ordered pairs, remember that's when x is -1. That would be -1 comma 5 and -1 comma 1. And I don't really need both of those, but I went ahead and wrote both of those because I had them. Okay, now to the graph. Click to enlarge the graph. We're going to grab our horizontal tool. Remember the chart we were using? It had a horizontal axis of symmetry. That means it's going to open left or right. So grabbing the horizontal tool, we need to place the vertex first, and that was at 0 and 3. Then notice it says to plot a point on your parabola. So we need another point, and that's where we need to remember the points that we calculated. I think one of them was when x is -1, y is 5. And so clicking at -1, 5, save and check. And that's going to do it for that problem. So if you have any questions or comments about anything covered in this video, please feel free to leave those in the comment section below, or you can text me. And thanks for watching.